do our invocation for this evening, please.
Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to be here and for our help and for the guests that have come this evening and the many positive things that they're doing for Valdosta City Schools. Please help us to make the best decisions in the interest of your children as our faculty and staff educate these fine children. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. We have a great crowd tonight. I hope that your summer was as productive as our summer was. We had a lot on our agenda, and I appreciate the time and effort that the board put in this summer to get a few things done. And we're looking forward to starting our school year. So, with that being said, could we get a motion to accept our agenda for tonight's meeting?
Motion to approve the agenda is presented.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? We have a unanimous vote. Okay. Now we're moving on to approval of our minutes. We're going to split this into two votes. So, all those in favor of accepting the minutes for June 22nd?
Move we approve the minutes of the June 22nd.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? All those who abstain? Three abstains. Okay. Now we can collectively do July 7th and July 8th. Could I hear a motion to approve the minutes for July 7th and July 8th?
Madam Chairman, so moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? It's unanimous. Okay, if we could review our minutes for July 14th and July 17th, they will be on our agenda for our next meeting. Next, we're down to our student and staff recognition. We have Mr. Nasser Vasquez, our FBLA National Conference Achievement. Ms. Steely.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good.
Okay, let me see which one we have first. Okay, so Mr. Vasquez and Miss Blankency. Right here. All right. I'm going to introduce Miss Blankency so she can introduce her student who excelled at this national conference. It's always great to see our students continue to move forward and do great things to represent Valdosta City Schools over the summer. And we have a couple of groups tonight that are going to tell you just about that. So, Miss Blankency, I'll let you come up.
Oh. Hi, I'm Ms. Blankency. I'm the FBLA advisor at Valdosta High School. And just to give you a little bit of background information about FBLA, Future Business Leaders of America is the largest career and student technical organization. And FBLA for Georgia is the largest chapter with over 265,000 members. So it's very competitive. To get to nationals, Nigeria had to place first at region, which he did, and he advanced to state. At the state level, the top 9 scores advanced to nationals in this event. We have 60 different events for FBLA. Our chapter competes in about 20 to 30 events. His event was hospitality management, and we were very nervous because he didn't meet his teammates until the day before competition. So they had about 6 hours to get to know each other. The preliminary round was a 100-question test, and the top 15 scores on that test advanced to finals, which is a performance level of the event. They received a case study, and they had 20 minutes to prepare a 7-minute presentation that has a question-answer portion. And the top 10 make it to stage, and they placed 6th in the nation, which is like so amazing because it's very, very, very competitive. So I'm so proud of him. Guys, if you want to come up and show them your award that you received. Say anything?
I guess I should.
Okay.
What few people do know is said, FBLA might be very big in other parts of Georgia, other parts of the nation, but it means a lot to me. Miss Blankency told me when she found out, she says, Nazir, we're going to Chicago. She didn't say, Nazir, do you want to go to Chicago? She didn't say, Nazir, do you think you're able to go to Chicago? She said, Nazir, we're going to Chicago. And I think truly Miss Blankency should deserve a larger round of applause for her support of me. But other than that, I had a lot of fun. Thank you for your guys' support, putting me in the newspaper. I got a lot of publicity. I didn't even know I was in the newspaper until they told me. Thank you for that.
Congratulations on your achievement with FBLA.
I'm gonna take a couple of pictures. All right.
This is bigger than the newspaper.
1, 2, 3. I'll do one more. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to take one so we can put it on our social media again. So people will be calling you again. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, it timed out on me. All right. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much and congratulations. Okay, we have another outstanding achievement, and this one, no matter that their advisor was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, she still found a way to tell me all the wonderful things going on with our debate team. And I know you guys have kind of been keeping up with all of their successes this year. And I didn't think I could do it justice, so I brought Miss Childress in to tell you a little bit about her team and their excel over the summer as well. Come on up.
Okay, well, we took our first 2 students ever to the national tournament. It's the National Speech and Debate Association tournament. It is the largest academic competition in the world. It has about 7,000 students, actually representing 7 different countries, so it's not just American students. And they represent the top 3% of speech and debate competitors in the world. Just really the top quality students go. Our 2 students, Raja and Marquise, were part of the Georgia Southern Peach World Schools debate team. And they competed against 116 other teams. They came out 52nd, which to me was a great achievement because it was a mixed team. We had a student from Carrollton and a student from Grovetown also on the team. And we had not been able to meet face-to-face until the morning of the competition. And they won every single one of their prepared rounds. Half of the rounds, they have the topics ahead of time, and they have time to prep, and we won every single one of those. The other rounds are impromptu. They have 30 minutes or an hour. 1 hour, a thesaurus, and an almanac. And that's it to do their research with. And so they did great. We had a great time. We were in Dallas for a week. Great food, great people, great fun. We even got a tropical storm to keep us from getting too hot, but I'd like to bring them up. Raja Sadarangani and Marquise Grant. You can say. Sure.
Thank you so much.
I wanted to say thank you all for supporting us, and thank you for giving us all the support, especially with our debate team making a reemergence just in these past
2 years.
Just in these past 2 years, and the overwhelming support that we get from you guys is out of the roof. And for us to have this opportunity to go to such an academic competition, it's mind-boggling. But thank you all.
I have nothing to add on to that.
There's no rebuttal.
Thank you so much.
They're kind of tall. Okay, 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Alright, and again. Just close it out. You don't have to open. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And again, congratulations. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you all. Again, congratulations on all of your achievements.
Ms. Lucas, is the Times, we have the Times present tonight?
You do.
Okay, this is something I know the board, and if I may, Ms. Lucas, the board, I know we're proud, and I know the teachers, interim superintendent. There's always so much talk about our kids not succeeding. These kids, during the summer time, along with the teachers, still excel. That's something to be proud of. That's something I like to see in the Times. Front page, not only to encourage our kids, but also other kids, you know, in the area. So just want to make sure that I put that out.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. All right. On to finance. Our millage rate adoption update. Mr. Jones. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Good job.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
You know they don't really like the financial part of it. They just want to make sure they can go.
Board members, just for your information, typically this is the time of year that we would be presenting to the board a recommendation to establishing our millage rate for FY16. This year, the county tax assessor's office has been in the process of reevaluating property in the county and the city, and while earlier we believed that they would be finished in time for our normal July approval, the process has slowed due to the number of reavals as well as property owner appeals. The interim tax commissioner contacted us last week and said that we had an extension granted through August 31st. So in the meantime, they're still handling reevaluations and appeals. I think that the deadline for the appeals has been set for August the 10th. However, we won't receive our copy of what the millage rate would be, the rollback rate, and then our 5-year tax levy that the history that they'll send us. So due to those time constraints, we'll have to have time to review the material and make a recommendation to you to either keep our millage rate the same or to accept the rollback rate. Regardless of our decision, we'll more than likely have to have a call board meeting so we can get that established. And until we have a date, Ms. Flukas and Hudson, I can't tell y'all when we can do that. But there is a time period, time schedule that we have to follow. If we don't roll back the millage rate, we have to have 3 hearings. If we keep the millage rate the same, if we roll it back, if we roll it back, we'll only have 1 meeting. If we keep it the same, we've got to have three hearings like we've had in the past. So I'll keep you up to speed, probably through Dr. Hudson, as to that process. But regardless, we'll have to have a millage rate adopted by the 31st of August.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. All right, facilities and grounds, facility committee update, Mr. Shirley.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Lucas. We met today at noon, had a great meeting, and architects, contracting team was here as well. And as you all know, we started a couple of weeks ago really looking and honing down exactly what money we have and what we can actually build. Started out today, and that the team had worked and had gotten that budget. In this number we're talking right now is the construction budget, not counting some other fees and some site stuff, that testing that has to be done. But we started at
$82,943,128. When we started that meeting today, the committee met, went through, and that number is that number that we had that had those issues on there, the deducts, as we call them. We kind of went through this and as a committee tried to prioritize those things that right now just aren't feasible. There was a revised thing sent out to you all this afternoon. I don't know if you've read or checked your email yet. If not,
I couldn't open mine.
You couldn't, okay. We'll have copies for all the board and all the public, when we go to executive session, Mr. Jennings.
Trey, I have copies if you like.
Do you? Okay, yeah, that'd be helpful right now.
Okay. Is that what you gave me earlier?
No.
No?
it's-
Okay.
it's
All right.
divided into that.
Yeah, what you emailed me has already been attached. So is that what you're handing out now?
Is it that?
Yes. Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay.
That's
Revised.
attached on your iPad.
Okay.
You should be
Yes,
able
it
to
is.
access
Okay.
that.
It is.
Long story short, we started with a list, and there were several items in there. It would basically prioritize to those top three, those that you see. And we're looking at these as add-ons, as in on bid date. We would bid less those items, okay? But then we would have alternate add-ons, so we would get pricing on those three items, depending on where we end up through all the value engineering, where the bids actually end up. We're hopeful that we will have favorable bids that come in less than our budgeted numbers. But we thought the tennis courts were very important. We have no tennis facilities at this point in time. We're having to use others. Add back in, it was discussed through the committee today that while, and we think we can get most of these, especially the top two back in, hopefully all three. But when we started looking at what we have, and if we really have to get down to cutting things, we have an adequate baseball facility at our current facility. We have, Mr. Love is a wealth of knowledge on it, but we have very good playing fields. We have the batting facilities inside, so on and so forth. Again, looking at things, number one, we took the approach, we're trying to take care of the school first and classrooms first, because ultimately that's our number one priority, as we all know. Then we start going back in on the wish list. So, worst comes to worst, we may not be able to have that baseball facility right out of the gate. That equates to about $2,725,633, as you see. And then we got back and we started looking, as you recall on the original list, the indoor football practice facility, which would be very nice. But keep in mind, I'm pretty sure we discussed today, there's not one in the state of Georgia as of yet. And it would be very nice to have for our football program and other programs. So we started talking a little bit about through that, and we were able to go from 3.9 to 3.2 on that last add back on, basically an open air but covered football practice facility / multi-use. Could be used by multiple sports, activities, band. Would be shaded, if you can envision my terms, a giant high roof pole barn. But it would be just in this area, you walk from the sunshine on the football field into the shade, you're gonna gain instant relief right there. So that's a way possibly for us to whittle some more money off, and if we have money at the end of the day, to get something, and it would be built in such a way, they told us, that at a later date, we could then come in and close it in and have a completely enclosed when and if we have the dollars to do it. Again, the committee is in full agreement with this being, we're bringing this to you for discussion tonight as this being our priority list as to the way we would want to add things back into the project. Now, below, you can see begin the site construction in October 2015. As you recall at our retreat, we talked about that. That's a $620,000 savings that's coming straight to us from the construction team. They're that confident in that number that getting started in October, moving dirt before the rainy season comes in and the water table comes up, it's that big a deal. They reiterated today that out of everything that we're looking at is probably the single most important thing from a construction project and site work that they could ask for. The combined cheerleading and wrestling into one space, we felt that, you know, again, we're going to, again, and keep in mind, everybody's getting what they have now and then some. So we were looking at it as trying to make sure we're taking care of everybody that we can that needs, that has the most needs. While it would be nice to have that in 2 separate buildings or divided, one big divided building, it's just not really feasible right now. So saving that money. Back to the revised CTAE area. That's taking those 4 rooms out, and I know Mr. Lee, we had discussion at the retreat on that. We fleshed that out pretty good today. We still felt like, and here's our reasoning here, we're keeping every program we currently have, plus adding cosmetology. That's in our number still. So we're adding another program on top of what we have now. These 4 that constitute $1.8 million are new programs that we were looking at. Again, you know, we started this as our wish list, and we knew we would have to bring it back in. Keeping in mind, we already have a fantastic relationship with Wiregrass. We're busing 2 buses a day, 90 some odd kids, about 90 children to Wiregrass every day already. We have Wiregrass bringing faculty to our facility. Those programs are already being done at Wiregrass. So if we have the want from our population in some of those that we would potentially cut now, we still have an outlet for them to take advantage of. It has been told to me, not by President Anderson out there, but Bill, you may have made this comment, that she has open arms and that she is willing to help us any way, shape, fashion, form we can. So, again.
She told me that face to face.
Face to face. Okay. And then just, you see revised ninth grade academy 3rd floor layout. That's just revising it. One of those first things we looked at had to do it away with the 3rd floor, even they were discussing. But that's keeping this area, revising the way it's laid out some, but still giving us that space that could be used for future expansion for classrooms if needed, gives us the space for the testing that we need, and we're currently having to take our students off-site, mostly to local religious institutions, to have testing done, so we can keep that, again, cutting down on our transportation of our students. So, said a bunch, and I know it's a lot to take in all at one time. But the biggest thing that we need to do, and that we really need to discuss, it's kind of not right now, but it ties back into the being able to start early. I mean, that's the biggest. That in us agreeing that we're good with taking these particular things out in the beginning and giving them hard plans to work on, and can they start early? That's imperative. Clock is ticking, working against us big time. Big decisions that must be made, I understand that. The bigger decision, again, is back to being able to start early. We've already had the approval for the bonds. We know we're going to sell bonds for the project. We've been in discussions, we've heard from Mr. Jones, and we may rely on you right now in some conversation And I would like for you and Mr. Lee to have conversations tonight. Mr. Lee, I don't know if it's even possible, but we may need to try and have a finance committee meeting quicker than quick.
We'll check the schedule.
Okay, all right. But it's, those are some issues that we're gonna need to hammer out real quick, because we've probably got 2 or 3 weeks, if that's at a stretch, in order to just say, yes, we wanna start early, and yes, we feel comfortable as a board going on, and let's start the sale of the bonds now, quite frankly. Mr. Jones brought us up to speed on his conversations with the bond people at the retreat, and so on and so forth. What happens if we don't do these things, and let's say we get to the decision and we can't come to an agreement to start early? There's a good chance you won't make your deadlines. It's almost impossible, is what we've been told by the construction. It's just, making that timeline and that start of school that we're looking for in that August of 18 is probably not feasible. So that's just the reality of where we are. So, we'll have those discussions, and me and Mr. Lee will talk some tonight, and then check his schedules and his committee schedules, and see if we can get together and circle the wagons on that. We've got a call board meeting on Monday, so if there's a chance we could get to some things by then, we could tack the little thing on. And again, it's a formality on the bond side. We're already there. We've done all the things. We just have to figure out when we want to press the button, so to speak. That's a mouthful. It's been a long day. Thanks to my committee, Ms. Shumper, Mr. Love, Mr. Retroff. It was a very good meeting, and many questions were answered. At this point in time, I'd open it up to the board to ask me and the rest of the committee if you got some right off the cuff that hit you. Anything in there in particular you don't understand, or anything in there that you look down and you go, well, there's no way we can do this without that. Again, deal breakers as we've talked in the past. Anybody got?
Nothing that can't wait.
Okay.
Just one clarification for the rest of the board, something that came up in our meeting today. This cheerleading and wrestling space, it was pointed out again, and maybe we heard this in retreat, that there are 17 days that those two functions overlap schedule-wise, and that was something that the architect endorsed, was to make that one space with a high ceiling that would work for the competition cheerleading.
And a good point, Mr. Retroff, and he also pointed out that the new gymnasium that's included in all this actually has 3 courts, and there are dividers that will come down within that. So even your cheerleading spots, they could go in there.
Worst scenario.
And yeah, worst case, and have that one space and do it there. And the big deal with the wrestlers, why they want the low ceiling, is so they can crank that heat up and get everybody hot. Well, we can just crank the heat up. is ultimately what came out of that. There are ways to accomplish what they want to do, but still save us the money from the construction side, which is what they've done up with that. But anything committee that I've missed, I've rattled off. Ms. Shumper, is that pretty much got us?
Very well done, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Sherwood. Appreciate it. Next is unfinished business. We have several policies that require our action this evening. First is the second reading of policy JCDAG, bullying. Dr. Hudson.
Once again, this policy was presented at our last board meeting for information only tonight. It's going to require some action. Once again, this policy is just being updated to make sure that our policy is in line with the state.
Make a motion to approve policy JCDAG as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? We're unanimous vote. And Ms. Dr. Hudson, down to second reading of policy JCDAE, weapons.
Once again, this is a revision of this policy. This policy is being revised to make sure that it coincides with the state policy as well.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? a unanimous vote. Okay, now, Mr. Jones, we have the second reading of policy DJEAC, purchasing or credit card use.
Nothing has changed in the policy that I presented in our last work session, and I'm just seeking approval for this. It's a policy that we don't have, that we need to have in place.
Madam Chair, I move that we adopt policy JCEAC as presented. DJEAC, excuse me.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, now we're on to the Becca trip to Washington, D.C. Dr. McKinney.
Good evening.
Good evening.
First, let us offer congratulations to
Yes.
both of you.
We definitely and truly appreciate it, We are here again to present for the 6th year our 8th grade educational trip to Washington, D.C. And it is an excellent trip. I know all of you know about it. I think some of you have actually gone on the trip with our 8th grade students. It's an exciting time. Last year I had the opportunity for the first time to attend with our 8th graders. And so, again, this will be our 6th year going into this trip. The dates will be Sunday, October 4th through Thursday, October 8th. And we will have 3 chaperones attending the trip with our students. We will also have a parent informational meeting that's scheduled for early September, and that's where we go over all of the information with the trip, concerning the trip. And we also have we usually have about 2 or 3 meetings with our parents. They will depart early morning on October 4th, Sunday, early to the Jacksonville airport. They fly out of Jacksonville and will arrive back at Becca the late night that Thursday, and it's usually pretty late. The cost of the trip, including the round trip airfare, is funded by Valdosta State University, and that is the great part, that the students are able to attend for free. And Mr. Marshall is going to talk about the focus briefly.
Great, thank you, Dr. McKinney. As Dr. McKinney already stated, this is a phenomenal opportunity for our students, and it truly correlates with the Georgia Performance Standards for Georgia Studies. It is an American constitutional government focus and the formation of the United States political system. However, the state government and the federal government, they are very similar in many ways. We presented just an itinerary of the trip. I know Ms. Lucas and Ms. Beeman can say, literally when the students wake up to 10 o'clock at night, they are on an educational journey. If I could put it in a way, it's like the Magic School Bus, but just for social studies. So we're constantly going to all these phenomenal places, Gettysburg, and students are truly interacting with these pieces. And I tell you, this will be my 6th time going with your approval. And every year, it's just a phenomenal experience and a new experience for me, because we take new students in, and they come back a totally different person. One of the things that we do is we provide the students with an opportunity to accelerate, and so they're given a project. They create in teams, they create an iMovie, and students they get an opportunity to select which topics they want to cover. I allow them to cover 4 to 5 topics, and they actually go to those various monuments and talk about how it correlates to Georgia Studies, but also how it correlates to our Constitution and also our political system. And for your convenience, we have created a QR code, and at your leisure, you can scan this QR code, and it will take you to 2 of our students' iMovies that they created. So that's our DC trip.
Make a motion to approve the Becca trip to Washington, D.C. as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? It's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thanks for your
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
All right. Now we're on to superintendent's report. We have school visits and meetings. Dr. Hudson?
Yes, ma'am. In your packet here on your iPad, you should have a list of the school visits that I completed from July 15th through the 28th. And also you have a list of the meetings that I participated in July 15th through the 28th. I also want to point out that on July 24th, Last Friday, I met with the principals. We had a great principals meeting along with the coordinators to kind of get the year started. I am so excited about the principles that we have in place, and I think we are going to get, I know we are going to get off to a great start this year. I am looking forward to working with all of our principals. So we have a great group of administrators. Thank you.
To our summer graduates, Dr. Hudson again.
Yes, just for your update, each year we try and give you an update on the number of summer graduates that we have. This year we only have 2. Okay. And we have 2 that have met the requirements during the high school diploma. This number is low because of House Bill 91, and that is good. Okay, because years past we would have between 15 and 30 for summer graduation. Well, House Bill 91 was passed in March of 2015, and this bill made it possible for some of our former students to get something that they thought that they would never get, and that's a high school diploma. Remember, House Bill 91 eliminated the Georgia high school graduation test, and that component was keeping a lot of our students from graduating. Students enrolled in the 9th grade for the first time after July 1st, 1981, that meet the state and district credit requirements are eligible to receive their high school diploma, but these students need to apply for a petition. So that's why we only have 2. A lot of those students have met the district and state requirements for credits to graduate. Okay? So leading into, if I may, leading into House Bill 91, I want to give you an update on that as well. Tonight, I am proud to announce that as of June 30th, we had 284 students that are eligible under House Bill 91 to receive their high school diploma. We had a total of 346 that completed a petition, but out of that 346, 284 met all the requirements. And so those students will receive their diploma sometime in September. Okay. Going back to the 2 students that graduated this summer, what I would like to do is I would like to invite those 2 students to one of our board meetings, so that way the board, we can recognize them on their accomplishment, if that's okay with the board. Okay.
Yes.
Now I have a question. What about the other 284?
Okay. That's something we're going to have to work through. We have to get with the high school principal and with the board. If y'all would like to have a little ceremony for them, it could be a major undertaking because a lot of those students are no longer here in Valdosta.
I understand that. I'm saying like for those who would like,
Okay.
it's still graduation. It's still momentous occasion for most.
Okay. Well, let me work through that with the high school principal, and we'll come up with a plan.
Mr. Lee, did you have a comment?
Just
Sir.
similar to what you said.
So we'll look at a possible ceremony to recognize those students.
For those who would like to attend. Okay. Board training report for FY15, Dr. Hudson.
Yes, ma'am. Each year, the board must complete the government's annual training report and submit it to the Department of Education. This report, and you should have a copy, huh? You'll have a copy.
I'm passing the original
Okay, the
around,
original is coming
but they
around.
have one on their iPad.
But you do have one in your iPad. The original's coming around. This report notes the number of credit hours each of you earned for training. Remember, I think you must have a minimum of 9 hours. Is that correct? You must also, on this form, as it is coming around, you must also mark yes if you have stayed in compliance with the board's code of ethics, which is policy BH, and the conflict of interest policy, and that's policy BH8. So please mark the appropriate form. Please mark the form in the appropriate areas and then sign off as it's coming around. We'll get that back to Ms. Jennings, and we will forward that to the Department of Ed on July the 30th. Also, I need you to start thinking about your training needs for the 2015-16 school year. These training needs include whole board training and individual training that you would like to receive. Each year, keep in mind, the board is required to submit their training plan. So think about your training needs, and Ms. Jennings will get with you in August to complete the training plan. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Hudson. And it reaches to a point where we're about to adjourn for executive session to discuss personnel. Could I hear a motion to adjourn into executive session?
Make a motion to adjourn into executive session to discuss personnel.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Unanimous. We're now adjourned to executive session.
Well, maybe Gina, but probably not Bill. Sorry. You know, I'm just teasing.
I know.
Thank you.
Call back to order from executive session. If I could hear a motion.
Make a motion to approve the superintendent's personnel recommendation as presented.
One moment, let's
Thomas.
Is certified staff?
This is certified.
Give her a moment, she will flash slide.
It's classified.
Okay. It's been moved. Did I get a second on that also? It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? We have a unanimous vote. Board member comments. I'd like to start this off. During our retreat, Mr. Lee presented to us some information regarding the changes to board pay. I would like to form an ad hoc committee to further that discussion with Mr. Lee chairing it, with Mr. Rexroth on board, Ms. Bell, and Ms. Wilson, who is not here this evening. So we had given the charge to Dr. Hudson and to Mr. Jones to start looking into some things, but we felt as though it would be best if we had a committee together to actually get some more information and to use that committee to present decision or recommendation to the board. So that's what. Any additional board comments? Mr. Lee? Mr. Love, I'm sorry.
It's, I hate to do this to you, but I've got a position of employment that I have to take. And I can't pass it up. So as of August 3rd, I'm going to resign from the Board of Education, which will allow a number of things to happen. One being that you can try to get somebody interviewed and put them in the position, or you can wait till the election and just put them on the ballot. So it leaves both doors open as of August the 3rd, 2015. This has been one of the most enjoyable, crazy things I've ever done. There's a lot of kids that in this school system that benefit from this Board of Education. And I tell a lot of people, I'm not important. Me sitting right here, I'm not important. It's all 9 of us with the superintendent and the staff. That's important. And the kids are important. And as long as we do what's right for the children of our system, we're going to move forward. Our graduation rate's going to go up. You know, it's taken us a long time to get all of our elementary schools on one page, but today, they're all on the same page. One child can go from elementary to elementary, and they're going to get the same instruction. They're going to get the same message. Our middle school's the same way, and our high school is really growing strong. We're going to build a new high school in this system, which is desperately needed. I hate that high school they're in. I hate it when it was built in 1974 and first occupied. But it's going to be state of the art. So I want to thank the board, all the superintendents, all the staff, guys, you're the best. And trust me, you are the best. Financially, in the worst economic conditions that we know about, we've only furloughed teachers one time. You look across the state, every system's not only furloughed, but they've done 4-day school week, 4 days in school week to save money. We haven't had to do that because we've had superintendent leadership that has taken us and allowed us to continue to not furlough our teachers. That's a very big thing. We've built schools in these times. We've employed people. We built Pinedale, $18 million. And we used a lot of local participation, which I'm very proud of. We need to keep this money local. For all of us. It flipped 7 times. So it's been enjoyable. It's been 11 years. I can't believe. I thought when I was 18 years old and going in the military, I thought I'll never get through 4 years in the military. And I look back today and I've been doing this 11 years. And it's hard to do. I mean, I'm very, very passionate about a lot of things. So it's very hard for me to leave. But I've got an opportunity. It's really good for me. It's really good for my family. And I want to thank everybody. So thank you.
Mr. Lowe, on behalf of the board, I take this resignation with a heavy heart because not only do you do a lot for the students here, I've worked with you on several community boards, and I know how hard you work for the people of Valdosta, not just for our kids, but the people of Valdosta. And I'm going to be sorry to see you go, but I know you have to do what you have to do for your family. So I appreciate it, and we look forward to maybe seeing each other again in the future.
You will.
Mr. Love, on behalf of the faculty and staff of Valdosta City Schools, we appreciate your 11 years of service. We know that during those 11 years, there were some tough times, some tough decisions that had to be made. But during those tough times and those tough decisions, you always stood firm to do what was best for our children and teachers. And so we appreciate that. Thank you, and we wish you the best in all of your endeavors.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'd like to say I'll miss Mr. Love because he and I have been in the trenches here, I think, longer than anyone else on this board. So, especially as a board member, we haven't always agreed, but we've always been able to work together for the good of students and the teachers. And it's good to have a Mr. Love around, and it's good to have a Mr. Lee around. You need that company, you really need that mixture, to make sure that things are done right.
Did I hit some stickers from
We're really proud that you have this opportunity and to have enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I wish you leaving. But I do have something to say while I'm speaking. District 1 elected me, and I see some community leaders out there. I need you all to help me get the parents to come to the PTO meeting and, help push their children on to success. But I can't do it by myself, so I need your help.
And one more thing, if the finance committee would check the schedule for a meeting next Friday at noon. We know school is opening next Thursday, I think, is the first day.
So you're saying August 7th?
Yes, but it's very important that we see if we can meet next Friday at 12 noon. I'm sure you won't be long, but we need to get up to date on some things.
That's August 7th?
Yes.
I won't be in town. If you
That's
could
finance.
substitute someone else.
Good.
I can look at my schedule to see if I can.
Or will you be able to, are you going to be in a position to participate by phone maybe?
If we can do that.
Yeah. So come in a meeting, I'll see what I can.
Okay, then that's fine.
Okay. So is it okay for everyone
I'm good.
Okay. Dr. Jones, we'll meet next Friday at 12 noon. Here at the board office.
So reminder, we're gonna have finance meeting Friday, August 7th at noon here at the superintendent's office. There will be a called meeting this Monday, August 3rd at 12 noon. Our convocation will be held Monday the 3rd at the PAC at 2:30. And school begins, thank you, Jesus, on Thursday, August 6th. Let me hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? It's unanimous. We are adjourned. And we do have some public participation this evening. I want to remind our members in the audience that you each will have 5 minutes to speak, and that personnel issues shall not be discussed in open meeting except provided by federal, state, or local laws and policies. Reference to an employee must be made using the term teacher, administrator, or employee. Persons who refuse to follow accepted rules of conduct may be removed from the meeting, and persons speaking must address the Board of Education rather than the audience. And first on our list, we have Mr. Floyd Rhodes.
Thank you very much, and I just want to shake your hand. We haven't always agreed, but
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate your honesty and integrity. Usually what we don't understand, we fear. And what we fear, we fight. That's just human nature. If we don't understand it, we fear it, and if we fear it, we fight it. That's one thing I want to see up front. Second thing I'd like to say is that just the other day I was with a group of people from the Equalizer, the tax folks, and I went up there to discuss my taxes, and we got that out of the way. It was lowered by $8,000. And during the course of the conversation, I mentioned that I had a reverse mortgage. There was a white gentleman standing next to me, or sitting next to me. The white woman who was in charge was to my left. The black man was across the seat there, the desk. And so I said I had a reverse mortgage. The white gentleman to my right, mother had a reverse mortgage. And so the lady turned to him and said, "Tell me a little more about the reverse mortgage." I said, "His mother's got it. He ain't got no reverse mortgage. I got one." "Why did you ask him?" She said, "Reverend, I'm so sorry." I said, "No, that's okay. I understand, because that's the way it usually works here. If a white person says that somehow it's supposed to be right, if I say it, somehow it's got to be questioned." Now, I mention that for a reason. It was my understanding, based on what Mr. Lee said and what this board agreed to, that black contractors would be assured of getting some of the contracts, which meant some of the money from the high school, the building of the high school. That was clear to me. We went out and we worked hard to pass the splosh tax thing, because we believed in that. We didn't just go out and do it just to be doing it. We did it because we were led to believe that blacks would get some of that money. The unemployment rate among blacks in this town is like 17.5% and rising. The unemployment rate among whites is 6.5% and falling. Now, there's something wrong with that. And this board, I thought, was committed to fixing that. I hope that you still are. We met with the other contractor that you had several times, and we thought that we had something going with him. And then, of course, there was a change. All I'm here tonight to say is I hope that you do what you committed to do. If you do that, nobody's going to have any problem. If you don't do it, well, and that's all I have to say. And I thank you for my time.
Thank you, everyone. Okay. We have Mr.
I pass. Just
Okay. Mr. Devo?
I pass.
Okay. Mr. Robinson?
Good evening.
Mr. Devo?
How's everybody today?
Good.
I'm here on behalf of contractors and Court Road, SCLC, and the Black Business Association. We attended the contractors meeting last night hosted by G.B.R and Paris for the purpose of getting some input on the contract qualifications and past performance. So many of you were not at the meeting last night to hear what took place on the floor when the announcement was made about our position. Okay? And so many times people get confused about the position that we are taking. And it raised some negative violence last night. I'm here tonight to provide some clarity on our position on behalf of the contractors so that there is no misunderstanding of what we want and what we want to do. We want to be part of the atonement that's to set the language for the contract performance and the interest that our interest can be protected. We know that when you guys sit down and negotiate a contract to give to whatever contractor that ended up with the project, that you had to have some form of language in place and you had to have some goals that you set. We never seen none of the goals to know if there's any participation as far as what Mr. Lee was recommending and was saying about the black contractors. And what we want to get a good understanding is that we have a contractor among us, and it's Shine, Prestige, and Pelote. Mr. Pelote is from Savannah, and he is a joint venture with the Shine and Prestige company. And he brought leverage of 55% bonding capacity of the project. And they're going to be bidding multi-components in this. And somehow people are getting misconstrued to understand what is taking place. When the issue came up last night and we brought it up, we had some controversy about it. And one of the gentlemen from Paris made a statement that, having asked the question to the audience, had anyone ever worked under one of these LLCs? That it might not be in the best of the interest. So that means that to us, that was kind of like an insult because we wasn't bringing something for no confusion. And then Mr. Lindsey Jones, he made a statement stating that if you bid with these guys here, perhaps you might not get an opportunity to bid with us because you're bidding with these guys here. Now, no one has no idea who is going to be bidding at the time of the bid. So it's impossible for us to know who's going to be bidding along with these guys if they are in the bid. And then to tell the guys that it's not in the best of their interest, if you have to bid with them, you might not be able to bid with us because there's no way of you knowing who's going to be on the bid. So all the guys are doing is bringing they're bringing 55% bonding capacity and financial stability for any of the contractors that work with them if they were to land the bid. That don't mean they're going to land the bid. But they do have someone that has the empowerment. And to get a negative vibe the way we got last night, it makes it seem as if they are setting the tone for unfairness and exclusion. And we want to make it absolutely clear that if you do find that they is going to participate in the old good old boy network system as far as some exclusions, there are going to be some severe consequences that's going to reflect upon the entire board and perhaps our county and our city. Because we're not going to be excluded from this project, and we are very proud that Mr. Lee stood up on behalf of black contractors. And we come to let you know tonight that it's not nothing about scrutiny. It's not that the guys are coming in to team up and saying we are all one group. They are going to provide a bid, and they're bringing 55% capacity of funding and financial stability. Ain't going to follow all the rules and guidelines that's going to be set for the requirements by the board for whatsoever they decide. We want to be part of the participation in the language that they are claiming that going to set the tone for how we're going to work. When I talked to the architect, he said that the language had not been done. He said that it's going to be based on what you guys decide. So We want to be part, we want our chairman to be a part. We want to work with the designated person that you guys have. We want clarity and understanding. We don't want no misunderstanding that if things don't work right, we want it to work right. Don't get me wrong, we definitely want it to work right. But if things don't work right, there's going to be some consequences that we're going to have to be dealing with. And I want you guys to understand that. We want, yes.
You're past your.
All right, well, thank you. Well, I'm going to sit down, but please understand there will be consequences if we don't get something out of this.
Okay, we appreciate your comments.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else? Now, Mr. Devo, you signed on the list.
Yeah, I signed the wrong thing.
Okay.
Apologize.